So she sent me an email back, and I appreciated that. And here was her remark to me about that, about the older skull in Africa. And she said to me, because it came from Fox News, so she said, be aware of Fox News, and I very much appreciated that. Actually, what she said was, beware of Fox News. Okay, so my name is Steve Boulter, and the name Boulter comes from bolting, which in the 16th century in England meant the grinding of wheat into flour. So obviously some of you out there have those kinds of names, Miller, those other kinds of derivation names that go with the culture that brought you your own name. Okay, some things about history. And you can pull up lots of these quotes, but as things go and they change, a lot of things stay the same. And we're all fairly jaundiced about history, but oral history in particular is to me the most fascinating part of history. Because as we've evolved now, we can go from what was just handed down family stories to what we're doing now in the digital age, is being able to record all this information. And that's what you're going to be doing. We're going to be going out and meeting people, and you're going to be able to meet and record their stories. So this is a new capacity. We're going to be able to share these stories because we have the internet and things like vlogs and others that make it possible for you not only to meet that person, but to share that meeting out across the universe, and also make it possible to be researched. And that's why when you do your recording, you're also going to do the transcript. You just need to type out word for word what that conversation was about. That makes it possible for other people to search, to research, and find out specific topics. When you have a trillion copies of tapes of recordings, how do you ever find anything? How do you ever know what piece of information? So you're all Google friendly, you guys all understand that. But now it's possible to search. But in oral histories, that has never been possible. We've had transcripts, we've had the ability to record a lot of information in history, but we haven't been able to search it. So that's where you're part on this leading edge, being able to bring that into the next step. Okay. All right. The unrecorded life is less worth living, and that applies to all of you. Okay? We talked about journals. Some of you kept journals, diaries, that kind of thing. But it also applies to you, not only as being the observer, but also as being a participant. So the thing I really want to get across to you, this term, is that your life is as interesting as any other. Sorry, I lost my place there. And that what I want you to do is to accept that there's power in your own life, and you should think about beginning a process of recording it. Other people are interested in your life, obviously your parents and friends, but you are responsible for documenting your own oral history. And now it's easy. And once you've done this, once you've done the process of being behind the camera, you can also think about being in front of the camera so that you can begin that process. Okay. The other thing about this is he who hesitates to record oral histories gets screwed, because people are dying at a high rate. And we know that, we know the Holocaust Project was a brilliant gathering of all the Holocaust stories. Great timeline on that. We're running out of those survivors to tell the stories. World War II veterans, you did in the paper every day. They're going 1,000 a day. So what we're going to do here is we're going to capture 200 odd hours of the lives of people who are in their 70s and 80s, who this year, next year may not be here with us. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to be in that little slice of time and slice of life that makes it possible for us to go off and get those specific stories and get them recorded for all time. Okay. Oral history, well, you're going to get all the rest of this. Nicole's going to cover everything, but in Weld County, which is where we are, or which is going to be our basin of our research, the geology creates geography. Well, the geology is important because the settling of the West, in particular Weld County and the Front Range of Colorado, depended on water. Okay? The geology of the mountains hadn't been here, we wouldn't have the water. And so the geology begins the process of defining where people settle. Geography creates the environment. Same thing. Just because you have water doesn't mean you can necessarily settle there. You have to have other considerations. Like life on other planets. Life on this planet has to have a certain range of values where you can occupy and successfully live on a piece of land. So too hot, too cold, too dry, all those things, the obvious things that are involved in making sure that you've got the right conditions for human habitation. Okay, I'm going to go through this real quick because I've got a lot of material to cover, but recently, just a couple of weeks ago, there is a process now which is historical societies are doing where you go to a cemetery and you reenact someone's life. And this is kind of what you're doing in that you are going to do this person's life now, as if they, if they had died in 10 years, they would come back to do the story. Well, that's what's going on here. And let's I don't know how our sound is. We haven't done anything with that. Okay, so these are gravestones in the Lindgrove Cemetery in Greeley. So here's Dr. Jesse Hawes. That's his gravestone and his family. And Dr. Hawes is settled here. And here's Dr. Hawes.
And in fact, I wrote a book about it. And I will read sections from my book. And in fact, I wrote a book about it. And I will read sections from my book that may help you understand what we experienced.
He was captured in the Civil War as a prisoner of war as a Union
It
soldier.
had been converted from an old cotton and corn warehouse owned by Colonel Sam Hill. Remember that name, Sam Hill. You may have heard it before. The brick walls were 14 feet thick. One half the roof had been destroyed and never repaired. If you've heard the term, "What in Sam Hill?" you can get a picture now of that reference. When I arrived at Cobb, the interior was hung with touching rows of 5 bumps, more like roofs, constructed from rough boards, placed one above the other with spaces of 30 inches. Later that year, 3 more tiers were added for 600 persons. And during the winter of 1864 to 65, another 2,500 prisoners made their beds on the ground.
Good. Dr. Hawes continues.
The prison hard dates were determined by Captain Howard, H.A. and Henderson, a former Methodist minister. Henderson had direct command of the prison. Henderson was a man of integrity and humane. Opposite personality to him was Lieutenant Colonel Sam Jones, always hated and feared by captains. Jones commanded the prison guard and surrounding military district. Jones was often drunk, which made him even more belligerent and tyrannical. He and Henderson did not get along. Unfortunately for the prisoners, Henderson was promoted and reassigned to a position which had no control of the prison. We were left with Lieutenant Colonel Jones. Kind-hearted Christian woman, Mrs. Amanda Gardner, lived close to the stockade. She cut up rugs for blankets for us and gave vegetables and books to the captured soldiers. While he was there, Henderson allowed her to do this. After he left, Jones money printed 2 prisoners in front of her window. I made 2 attempts to escape. That was when I had energy enough to contemplate escape. As the war dragged on, rebel officers would come to the prisons and urge prisoners to join the Confederate Army.
Okay, so you get a flash of what can be done. These reenactments bring life to these stories. Okay, so let's go on to about northern Colorado, which is where we are. As we said earlier, the temperature was okay, the winters were bad, but were survivable, and water. Okay, there was water. Colorado is a high desert, and it's not. It depends on the rivers, but as I said, agricultural depended on the ability of dispersing this water. But we just have rivers. And then there were the Indians.
Hello. It's so good to see you. You remember me, Rosine Meeker. They told my sister Josephine that they had decided decided to shoot her. Josephine understood the Indians' language and knew what they were saying. Those Indians cared for nothing but bravery. When they came for her, she stood right up in front of their leader and shouted, "Shoot! Shoot! Shoot! I am not afraid of Indians or of death." And you know, those Indians laughed and simply walked away. I came here as a young girl. Well, no, so old. I was a toddler when we were living in Ohio. Father was put in charge of me while Mother went to run some errands. Father was busy and told me to go out and play. I dropped my dolly down the well. Oh, I reached for her, but oh, it hurt when I fell. Oh, it was wet and cold and so dark. Oh, it was horrid. But they kidnapped Mother and my sister Josephine and did outrage them. Those murderers were never brought to trial. A travesty of justice. One of the employees at the Indian Agency was Winston Scott Fullerton. As fate would have it, Mr. Fullerton and my father got into a disagreement, and Fullerton returned to Greeley. He and my sister took to each other and married. They had a sweet little daughter, Josephine, named after a dear departed sister. And then 2 years later, a son, little Ralph, after our brother. Mary, though, took ill with childbirth fever and died shortly after little Ralphie's birth. The children were a joy, and Mother and I consoled ourselves with their care. Their father, Fullerton, was working on his farm north of Greeley when he was crushed under a cartload of potatoes. Mother and I nursed him in our home night and day for almost 6 months. I remember I was 21 when Father brought us all out here. It was so, there were no trees, no streets, no houses, no stores. Culture was non-existent. And the men, my brother George died shortly after he got here, tuberculosis. My sister Josephine died of pneumonia. They were both so young. And then our sister Mary. You probably know what happened to Father. As I've told everyone on my lecture circuit, those red-skinned devils murdered the founder and leading citizen of our community, the creator and editor of the Greeley Tribune, the Indians' very own benefactor, and my dearest Papa. They killed him and 10 other men from the colony. They kidnapped.
Okay, and finally, eccentricity is not something that was recently invented here.
Everyone in Greeley has a garden, you know, men and women alike. And you know, men and women are truly equal in intellect and reasoning. I've been a leading member of the Women's Suffrage Association in Colorado and in Weld County. And I would not think twice of any man who did not hold these values in his innermost soul. Was a mining engineer from London, England. Forthright and with strength to verbally attest to the equality of women and men. He was dashing and had the wit and charm that had everyone in Greeley talking. I was dumbfounded in his company, and then he invited me to dine and to the theater. I became like a young girl, not knowing what to say or do. We had what might be called a whirlwind romance.
Actually, I think eccentricity of something this one.
That we lost our dear, sweet little Josephine to diphtheria Fullerton remarried, moved to California, and took our precious little Ralphie with him. I like chickens. This is Susan. She lives here in the kitchen with me. Yes, I have plenty of furniture. I don't need it. She and I have breakfast together. We like muffins. She talks to me and gives me eggs. No better friend. Oh, I do have friends, you know. Why, every time I walk to town, I am begged into their homes.
Thanks. So, really, most of you probably know where it really is. Anybody doesn't know where it really is? Good. Anyway, it's close to here, and it's the top end of our study area. All right, as we said, water made human settlement possible, and that is a key factor in this demographic ability to make agriculture successful because of water. And now, you know, the same thing applies in the new demographic, the new settlement of Colorado. What we're coming up against now is that the Weld County, which is our study area, there's westward expansion. Even you see it in towns. The western side of towns grows, the eastern side doesn't. This applies especially to Greeley and Fort Collins. Resistance to this change is futile, and there's a whole economic study about what's going on in terms of the transition from the agrarian life, even the modern agrarian life, where feedlots and cattle and all these kinds of things are grown, are all being overwhelmed by expansion, suburban expansion. The conflict is for the water. Suburbs and houses are a higher, in terms of all the politics now, are a higher value for the water. So water is more important for houses, for homes, for suburbs, than it is for agriculture. Irrigation and innovation still goes on, but that was the key thing that really made all of the study area work, because you had to be engineering, which moved the water from the Platte off into the farmlands. You had to get there somehow. Also came farming technology, amazing things from the Victorian era on, where America and other countries were great inventors. We invented great farm machinery to be able to process and to grow and sow all the crops that we needed. Biodiversity with economic value, which was potatoes and especially sugar beets. Sugar beets became the crop for northern Colorado, and many, 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 many families survived on the check they got from the sugar company. Okay. This also generated the transportation connection, which was between having railroads. Once you grow something, you've got to get it somewhere. That created a whole commercial class, and that's why Greeley exists at all. Greeley started out for other reasons. It was a sort of a sanctuary of a kind, although it was kind of a hype sanctuary, and an investment project. But in the end, it turned out that it was the commercial center for the agriculture in the 40 miles around it. And then finally we came up, you know, this university. The reason this university really exists at all is because when all that technology and all that farming and all that growing got going, then they needed a brain center, as they brain power, to improve it, keep going to be competitive. So that's why CSU, that's how CSU got its start. So just like CSU is evolving, it began and it was interdependent between the rest of the state for its capacity to understand agriculture and improve it. Okay. Now, we have these issues now that all come up in terms of the cultural context of farming communities and what's happening to the people that's going on. And as the agriculture as we know it is over. Water's too valuable, as I just said. And now farming in the Front Range doesn't depend on weather or crops or diesel fuel costs. It depends on jumbo jets, because the ability to bring in product from other countries, from other places in America, is completely defining the ability of farmers and the agricultural economy of this part of the country. So as it evolves, then of course the people go with it. Also tourism, as we said, depending on water, snow and mountains, back to this whole thing about the geology. We have the geology for snow, we can have skiing, we can have the ski resorts, we can have tourists. And then there's the issue of global warming. There's been a study out last year that said, okay, the ski area in 10 to 20 years may not exist in Colorado. It may be because of global warming. We don't know. I mean, but those are the kinds of things that are radically, quickly changing everything that's going on in Colorado and the demographic response to the environment. Okay. Now let's go back to the people we're going to be meeting and conversing with. Okay. A lot of these people are in their 60s, 70s, and 80s. Okay. So today's world's not their world necessarily, but I say they are very hip. They are very clued in. These people, they're not your average grandma and grandpa. These people are active, viable people who are still deeply involved in their community. What we're going to say is you are each going to create your own 1-hour presentation that is this freezing in time of this experience with these people. You're going to record this. Okay, and finally, these people are not fragile. They've been through a lot. They've been through the Depression. They've been through a couple of world wars. So you don't have to, you don't have to be soft with them because they're as tough as Rosie and me really are. So no concerns there. All right. For your interview, the things you need to do: be friendly, be yourself, listen. Okay? Simple stuff, ordinary stuff. Respond. Have a chat. This is an informal adventure. You're going to be sitting down with people. These are people who are comfortable in themselves, and they really expect you to be the same. So you just have to be relaxed and really enjoy these meetings. Okay. Here's how you can mismanage your interview. Okay. Now this isn't like just turning on a recording. Just don't ask them a question and they just run through the app. Well, this is normal human interaction. Just expect to interact with them at their pace. Okay? Unless there's somebody in here who is actually a professional interviewer, raise your hand. But otherwise, the rest of us are just amateurs. And so it's going to be straightforward, informal conversation. You don't have to hurry the interview. There's not a specific amount of material you have to get through. You'll come out with a basic set of questions and their direction to go with the interview, but if it doesn't go there, it's not the end of the world. You'll be mining for stories and information. Okay, disrupting or interrupting the interview, cell phones, obviously that kind of stuff. And then again, these people from a different culture. You'll just have to want them to be as comfortable as possible. Okay, what we're doing here is we are making a good effort to advance the art form because, as I said earlier, the technology has moved forward. We want to stay with that technology and we want to apply it to the oral history. We're working with the people at the Colorado History Museum. They're very interested in this class and what's going to happen because they have interest in going out to other places and replicating this so that they can do, as we said earlier, try to save oral history of Colorado. It's easy, There'll be basic bios posted on WebCT. Show up early, not late. Be willing to talk about yourself, and if you can, just pick a year. I mean, these people have lived through, from the 1920s on. If you want to spend 10 minutes or a half an hour on Google going, what happened in 1934, and you've got some specific points of contact with these people. What happened? You can find things about Colorado or Greeley or otherwise. You can have some points of conversation. That's all. All right, now we're going to meet the recipients. Here we go. Here's a few of them. These are all people who are from a little community south of Greeley. They get together every 2 months. They have lunch. And they've maintained this tradition for about 50 years. And here's some more of them. This pair on the left here, is just about to have their 70th wedding anniversary. 70. Now, you mentioned earlier about models for oral interviews. Okay. Well, everybody watches Leno, Letterman, Larry King. You all watch. You're all familiar with the interview styles of these people. But I want to bring someone to you that I strongly suggest you go to Google search and there's some interviews, and we'll learn a little bit about this man. And over the next 10 years of your life, get connected with James Burke. Okay? James Burke is an absolute genius, and he integrates. He principally follows the course of technology and how it affected everything that ever happened in history. But and he has several programs. They're all public libraries now. They're PBS. They're both the PBS. But please do yourself a giant favor and find James Burke. Okay. The Greeley Museum.